Welcome everybody. I am Melissa Brace at melissabrace.com. Thought we would do a little bit of channeling today and talk a little bit about our shadow work, self-work, energy healing, and transmutation. I'm feeling Mother Mary really strongly today, and I was preparing by pulling a card, a theme card for today, as well as a theme card for the welcoming in of May 2019. I think April has been a little bit crunchy for many of us, so a little bit of extra realization going on, more than I wanted, that's for sure, in my shadow work. And I think for all of us, you know, in a large scale and personal scale, it's been a little bit of a realization time. And that's what I think is likely in the energy to come in May, a little bit more realization. And I'm rather looking forward to it. I'm really excited for us all to really open up our eyes. I think it'll be time of change and eye-opening realizations and synchronicities. I'm pulling a card for the theme of the day from the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck. It's my favorite. I have a deck of these cards at my house in Arizona and here in Oklahoma. I'm in my Oklahoma home. So I've been shuffling and saying a little prayer and meditating a little bit, grounding before I started. I was supposed to go get my hair done today, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours away. And I started driving out of town, and it was really rainy. It was kind of, you know, starting to be a little bit flood-like. But it got so much worse. The thunderstorms came in, and there were tornado warnings everywhere. So I am in a space that's known as Tornado Alley, which is not really that cool, but I do think that the energy in the weather, the rainstorms sometimes really can be cleansing and healing, and also is a form of transmuting some of the energy, which means transforming some of the energy from bad or negative feelings, vibes, energies, circumstances, atmosphere to clean, clear love, wholeness. So let me pull a card and we'll start. And I already feel Mother Mary with us, so I won't tell too much of a story. Lucky us, huh? Very nice. Card I pulled today was Transition. It's a really cool sacred geometry picture. Transition, number 43. The card is number 43. The frequency of transition supports our deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence and our lives, so that we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. Transition. Deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence and our lives, so that we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. I couldn't think of a more perfect card today. I've been working on myself, my self-work, my shadow work very deeply. And I have, I'm serious, I've had some resistance, and some of the realizations have been hard for me. And this is I'm talking from a point of view of this is my life's work. Like, I've been dedicated to this, committed to this energy frequency work, soul contracts, Akashic records, generational DNA energy work, earth, not as much earth grid work, but personal grid work, for my entire lifetime, like my whole life career, and done a lot of studying and, you know, shamanic practices, classes, and I got to say hello to one of my favorite mentors and teachers, Daniela, who matrix technician work, multi-dimensional, groovy, working with the light beings at different dimensions, just unbelievable coolness. So thank you, Daniela. It's all coming up. So to recognize the depth of our knowledge and truth inside, our sacred truths, our self-worth, which I've been really working on myself, self-love, really working on in myself, is coming up a lot. And so Mother Mary is here today to talk about the divine feminine and masculine, and apparently our changes and transitioning and shifting. And I wasn't really expecting that. In my day, of course, I was just had a totally different thing planned. So this is cool. Mother Mary is here. I've never had this before. It's not like I talk to Mother Mary all day, every day, but she's handing me a rose. And she's saying, I would like to explain some of the work, whether we're conscious of it or not, whether it's mass consciousness with the whole population, past, present, and future, or it is in our personal work, we are working on healing the depths of our souls, to our systems in every life time, but especially this one, we're bringing in change and clearing and cleansing some of our generational wounds and traumas and addictions and things that are stuck in us that most of us are not even conscious of any of it. Just, you know, causes us to have wounded pain or suffering or reactions that we don't even know are coming. So this is pretty cool. Divine feminine, masculine. Balancing is part of of what she would like to speak about today. And she hands me the rose, saying that you've done well. I've been working on a lot of abuse, very severe trauma in my own self, my own wounding. And she says this is a theme for everybody, whether they know it or not. It's a new day. She says the newness is already in place. And I'm very grateful for her to being here. She wants you to know that in these times, in the mass consciousness, people are really, when we are seeing on television, people are really acting out. And she's saying it's a little bit funny. You can watch the people take sides, go against each other, belong to a group that makes them feel really strongly. A group, not a group. And she's very gentle and graceful. I'm feeling waves and waves of unconditional love. And she says all of you can breathe in a little bit of that unconditional love. It's a blessing, a gift today for all of us. And we can think of one thing, two things, three things in us that we've been holding, carrying, and that have been hard to let go, that we want to breathe out. So if you want to, in your minds, think of a couple of things that have been bothersome or that you've been overthinking, and ask that the light of God or the universe, 100% pure divine love, sweep this away for you and take it to be transmuted. She's saying, take it to the sunshine. She says, take it to the sunshine to be transmuted. All of us have wounds and things that have been triggering us, and we will see as they all rise up to be let go. One of my things is I've been having a really resistant time letting go of things in my own soul, my own psyche, my own experience. And she says that is very well. Everyone is on their right path at the right time, divine timing. She said, breathe in the unconditional love and grace, and out anything that is no longer needed for our highest good, other people's energies, pains, circumstances, sufferings, grief, loss, fear, anger, abuse, lack, hunger, aloneness, loneliness. In all of the unconditional love in the whole universe goes right through us and feeds every cell of our being, every layer, every level, to the beginning of time and back on every timeline in every layer and level. She's saying that all of us inside are working on really letting go and releasing, which is a large task. Please be sure not to judge one another or think someone is behind or ahead of you, lesser or more than you. There's no judgment. Will help all of you through these transitionary times. She says that it is a time, this is fun. This is time for our divine blueprints, true, sacred, original divine blueprints to come back into each one of us. So she's showing me, it's almost like a script or a piece of paper with blueprints and some words, so that you can ask God or the universe, or whatever words that you want to use, your higher self, to bring that into play, bring that into play as we are realizing and recognizing what is here for us in the new earth time, awakening. She wants to bring us news of the balancing of the divine feminine. She says it's hard for us to see the fear in everyone, and again, people coming together in groups and angers. It's like war energy. She says these things are being deactivated in humanity. War, any dark energies that have caused things like atrocity, war, murder, rape, sufferings, so great, is being shifted into our realization, so that we will see how to come back into a divine unity, harmonized state, so that our children and grandchildren can have a better world. She's winking at me. She says she's checked on many of us in recent days, and there have been timeline shiftings as well for all of us. This is interesting. I was absolutely not even expecting this. She says, so those of you who have broken hearts, soulmate issues, are releasing some, and some of us are going to be able to restart, renew in a better place from a different frequency. And in this is balancing of divine masculine and feminine. If we have hurt each other, said harmful things to each other that caused us to doubt or not have self-love, these things are going to be addressed, and those of us who are ready for healing, some of those wounds. Let's just say you've had to deal with narcissistic, lying, cheating, stealing, which I have a list. I have a little list of that. Oh, it's a long list. And abuse. So it's what that is. If someone says, "Oh, you were married to the narcissist," what that is very severe abuses to our energy systems. So she's saying that those things are being addressed. And it's not about justice, she says. However, justice is involved. We might not see someone that we, go to jail, or the perpetrators, might not be in trouble, but there's justice and balance happening, and we can never know. Others karmic balancing or what's really going on in all ways. So again, do not judge. But in relationships and connections, she says, including larger scales such as presidents, world leaders, community activists, leaders, those in charge. There are some interesting energetic shifts and light movement coming in, frequencies coming in that are helping those things be in a more whole, balanced state. She's saying, for instance, if you can see, we're taking politics which is absolutely not my cup of tea, so I don't really know what's going on that much, but there seems to be a little crazy, a little bit, talk about some narcissists running some things, a little psychopathic going on. Angers, issues, yelling, pointing at each other. I'm bigger than you, I'm going to win. I'm going to beat you down, I'm going to win. Kind of vibration and behaviors. War, she's calling it war, is happening. And I was also talking to my birth mother today, and I always ask her what's going on. So she said that in Venezuela there's an enormous and painful revolution going on, and overthrowing of governments, and people are starving and just being run over by giant military vehicles and killing lots of death and crazy destruction. So we send a rose of peace and love and grace and protection and safety to all of humanity, and especially those in Venezuela today. She's saying, so watch as we are all having realizations of what is truly the highest good and best. It's for all, and the ugly pieces, the imbalances, the distortions will continue to become very forefront for us. So we'll see what is truly balanced, or what we would call right or wrong. She's saying some of the energy patterns again for spring. Just, like I said, I'm in large thunderstorms. There's a second rolling in of the second part of the thunderstorms right now. And tornadoes and things, some of those are also balancing energetically in a larger or different way, different level of energies, the atmosphere. Balancing, cleansing, transmuting energies. Okay, is what she's saying. Most of you might know what that means, and if not, that just means that in every level we are being shown how to balance. And some of it might not be fun or easy, but we are being shown what is right, what is in the original divine blueprint, which would be in order, harmony, wholeness. She's saying so that the generations later can look back at us and say, those people were gross in their behavior, and so we will learn how to get along and be safe and healthy. She's saying in personal relationships that will be, we will recognize things in each other, and we will either certainly be released from some of the really people we're not supposed to be around that we do not resonate with, or we can come back and be refreshed and renewed and balanced, and come back into a really healthier, higher frequency, harmonious relationship. So this will be the theme in the next months for some of us in some ways. Maybe not all day, every day, but that's what's going on. She says, so this is, in fact, part of balancing the divine feminine, masculine, which are both very wounded. So that would be feminine and masculine energies in us, in our atmosphere, in our society, in circumstances that need balancing. And she says, so many of the spiritual people do know that Notre Dame burning down, things like that are also part of the balancing. So she says, in each of our hearts, if we would like, she would like to give us each a rose, which symbolizes pure, divine, unconditional love from her, from the heavens, from God. And this rose energetically will sweep away some of the pains and worries and self-doubts that we have, the self-hatreds, the self-love that we cannot always find in ourselves, our worthiness. And we will learn to see our value, treat each other with more value. And worthiness. And she says this also in this era, this change. So in Venezuela, they're doing a political, like the one president is being overthrown for the other, and they're fighting, and part of these people are on this side and part of these people are on this side. They're all going to kill each other, and like regular general population people are suffering quite a bit, and they're not bringing in food for, so people are hungry, starving. She's saying, so remember, in layers, this has been happening here, in the Americas, as well as in other places, in smaller ways. So she's making me laugh. She's showing me pictures, visuals. She's showing me throughout the decades of me being a psychic medium and talking to many people. People have asked me over time, should I get a lot of food and water and a lot of guns because they're, is it time for, civil war, which in 2012 in particular, a lot of people asked about that, and the year 2000. Are we having civil war? Is this, or, something going to happen, uprising? And I do feel like I'm certainly not seeing, yes, everyone needs to go get food and water. I think we should all have a little bit of extra in our spaces just in case of any, natural disaster or anything. I'm not saying us have, full on, everyone has guns and killing neighbors in civil war, but I am seeing us realize what the truth is so that we can balance out and learn how to treat each other better. Again, she's saying personally, in our relationships, in our marriages, in our family, children, parents, siblings, our friends group, the people we work with, and I don't know, our neighborhoods, our spaces and places are going to be balancing. and realizations will come up on how we can choose to be better and treat each other better. So this is really cool. I've seen over the years, in different spaces and places, I get made fun of like a few times in different, because I travel all over the place, and Texas and Kansas and Arkansas and Missouri and where else have I gone? California, and I have my home office in Sedona, Arizona as well. One of my very, very favorite places is Island Park, Idaho, of course. I still want to have a little home base there too, which is right by Yellowstone, right down the street from Yellowstone Park, which is where Wyoming, Montana, Idaho come all together. So I get to travel a lot and talk to people all over the world, often, frequently in my work. So I have been made fun of, and then I make fun of myself more than anyone else does, about my Oklahoma accent and my backwood ways and my extra eyeliner that I wear and things like that. But in the past, it's been, known that this area that I grew up in might have a little extra heavy, possibly karma or old school thinking, maybe judgments, things like that. The truth is, there's so many amazing, advanced, wonderful people here. So I wouldn't say that everybody feels that way, but there are, mindsets. And so she's saying that some of those old mindsets that are in our generation lines and DNA everywhere, it doesn't matter if you're from Oklahoma or you're from Alaska or you're from Canada or Australia or Africa, some of those are going to be shifting a little bit so that we can learn not to judge and take care of one another. And we're coming into a time where we learn, it's like the law of one, which would be, as Jesus said, the golden rule. Treat one another as you would like to be treated. Love one another as you want to be loved. She's showing a curious thing. I went and did a group reading this last weekend, and it was fun. And there was a young man, I think he says he was 10 years old. And he's kind of interesting and sensitive, and he didn't talk that much. He did not want to sit through the whole group reading, but he was there, and he was really cool participating in part of it. And he said, okay, the energy's intense. I'm seeing a swirling energy above our heads. And I said, yes, that's, And he was right in describing it. And so the point of this is, when we're doing energy works, or in my case, it would be psychic medium readings, the energy movement is a little bit different. It amps up a little bit. And so some of the things in my work, always many years through the talking, is helping people release some of the grief and loss of pain, and balance some of the energy while we're speaking. I always say, if we can just have 1 second of our hearts being healed, it's worth it. It's worth it to be the weird lady with the weird job traveling across the country like a gypsy. So he was seeing the energetic swirl, which would be like kind of like a cyclone. He called it a black hole. And his mom said, well, he's not allowed to be around anything. I don't know how he would know that word. And I said, well, it's kind of like that. It's, when we're talking, there's energy movement like that. So she's showing, Mother Mary is showing me, not only all of us waking up more to our divine gifts and blessings and talents and abilities, our truth, our knowledge, our wisdom, but we're also going to perceive things in different ways now. So this is also part of this. And I thought the young man I think, I love to work with kids sometimes. Young people, doesn't have to be 10, could be 20, but young people, as they are more awake and they have less, less, I don't know, icky, gross, boundary, shield things about, old school thinking. A little bit more advanced than we are, old people. So that's cool. She says we're going to learn how to see through innocent eyes, again, like children, and be open, and our perspectives and perceptions will be shifting and growing and expanding. So she says, in that, we would like to touch base on, again, the shadow work or healing work inside of all of us, where we are healing things from our DNA, which would be go back to our family lines often enough, or things that have happened to us and in our lifetimes as well as other lifetimes. And she says, so you can almost imagine a bright light, a golden white light. You could put colors in it, whatever colors work for you, and ask your angels to come. You can ask Mother Mary, Ascended Master, or your star family to come to help you do this God work. And you can just imagine it almost like a cyclone cleansing out some of your energy, like whatever you've been going through, at least burdens you've been carrying. And she says, we will help us as a humanity learn how to let go to old paradigms and old ideas of how we think things should be, or how in the past it worked, or what happened in the past, so that we can, she's showing me like, whoosh, rip through all of the old stupid rules and laws. She says it's almost like it took over, like none of us nobody could ever know, or even if we were to look at a book of all the laws of the land, any land, it would be so outrageous and so stupid, like it was written by a lot of darkness. A lot of it was so, and how it's unjust to, women and children is very imbalanced. And she's ripping those up and saying, we will see a different perspective. The truth is, let's make it simple. Let's not judge people, and let us learn how to, follow the golden rule inside of us, each one of us. And in that, she says, that also means self-love. So she says, so we're ripping up the old scripts and the old things in the Akashic Records, which is like the Book of Life. For each one of you who asks, this is what we will be working on in the next months, that we no longer want and need, no longer serves our highest good. And so we can come back to the original divine blueprint or script of our lives, and why and remember why we're here. Coming to our power, which would be, standing in our truth. Not power like I'm going to win over you, but power like knowing, balance, truth. And offer each other many cups of love. And she's saying many of you who have struggled or have not been able to come together with family members that you've had either problems with in the past or misunderstandings usually. In all the readings, there's a lot of imbalanced, weird thinking sometimes, but I think it's mostly misunderstandings. But she says also in love relationships, she says many people, whether they're married or in a relationship, feel very alone. And so to help those people, which is a lot of people, open up their eyes and open up their hearts again, she's touching her heart, showing this glowing rose, so that our frequencies find the right people that we will connect with and resonate with, and will help us to no longer be alone in ourselves, which we've all been working on, and come together in new groupings and new balanced stuff. And many, many, many people, and our family members don't change that often, they don't change, and certainly I think it's pretty sad that people get divorced so much. I mean, so many people get divorced, even though that's necessary sometimes. So some of the people will come back and look at each other and say, I really did know it was you. I just didn't know how to get past these pieces, or what you did to me when you lied and cheated and were icky. And now I do. And they, renewed beautiful relationships in many ways. And that goes with, again, community work in bigger scales as well. She says, I would like to send out a call to everyone's hearts to recognize their soul tribes and pat each other on the back for all the good job, each and every one of you have been doing. And please know that you're not alone and you're supported. And whatever words you use, whatever backgrounds or beliefs you have, she says that it doesn't matter, that you're truly loved unconditionally and you are perfect as you are. So if someone told you weren't good enough, too tall, too short, hair's too light or too dark, and that could go in very deep many other ways. I've been working on that. I had a lot of abuse in the last couple of years. And in my lifetime that it was stuck in me. I did not know how to let go of it. Like I was holding it right here on accident. So it would bring other people in. I magnetized other people that would say, you're not good enough. Like not too long ago, someone said, again, the same person said, well, your body's not good enough. He was excusing himself for lying and cheating and stuff. So I was like, that ain't even true. But I just thought, why am I magnetizing that? Where is this coming from? And I thought, he just needed someone to make him feel better. Poor thing, he has, I'm sure, as much pain as the rest of us. So, so I'm not, only being a victim. I'm seeing and recognizing my responsibility and learning how to release. None of us know how to let go and release things all of the time, because if it was that easy, we all would have done it. Each of us on our journey are in our perfect places. We are perfect as we are. It's a new day. It's a new world around us. And we're going to choose how to renew our actions, our activity, our choices for the highest good. And so that's what Mother Mary is bringing today. Men, women, children, old people, middle-aged like me. We are all where we're supposed to be. And we were all loved and perfect. And she says it again, open up your hearts, open up your eyes. It's safe to love one another, and you will see the unfolding of each of your, purposes. It could be for the day. It could be like just opening the door at the gas station for somebody who, has a broken arm that can't open the door by themselves. Or it could be, in bigger ways. Sorry. Giving money, giving a hug, apologizing, telling the truth, calling a family member and saying, I just love you. I have no idea. I used to tell this to my mom. My mom has passed. And this is really cool. I'm still feeling Mother Mary, but she's showing me my mom. We didn't understand each other, and consequently, there's like a family friend that's told me several times that my mom was like, oof, she just thought you were crazy. Who would say that to someone? Who really? And the truth is that she didn't really think I was crazy. My mom was the exact opposite of me, and super awesome, and was brilliant, wonderful, smart, and a little intimidating of a lady, and awesome, very kind and loving and caring, and just opposite than me, and we didn't understand each other all of the time, but you know, showing, she and I used to banter. Other people were a little bit intimidated of her. She had very great boundaries, and you know, asked for what she wanted. She was just on at me. No, I was always the, you know, opposite, the doormat, a little bit opposite, but together, we had awesome times, and she would go, no, I don't understand what you're saying. And so I would explain it in a different way and follow her, over talk. She was one of the only people that, especially if I was going through trauma, or if I didn't, you know, I didn't have anyone to tell, she would just listen and listen sometimes, and be really good to me. And she would go, I would say, I have no idea what you're talking about, lady. You make no sense to me. She would try to explain something really basic, and she would go, I have no idea what you're talking about, lady. You make no sense. And so we would laugh at the main thing was that we would misunderstand each other. She didn't know how to help me. I didn't know how to help her. And so sometimes it caused us some separation, or to feel like the other didn't like or love each other. But that was totally untrue. And yeah, I'm sure, I don't know, you grew up with a, you know, psychic, and be a psychic's mom in the middle of the Bible Belt, that you don't know how to, what to do. She was the best, actually, but she, you know, she didn't think I was crazy, usually. And I didn't think she was crazy, usually. But our bantering and saying, I have no idea what you're talking about, really was fun. And it showed also, truly, that it was only a different perception that we had, that we just didn't know how to get it. And so I miss her and appreciate her teaching, and she was the best mom of a psychic growing up in the Midwest that I could have ever asked for. So I feel that motherly love today in Mother Mary, and so she's going to send a great sweeping whoosh to you as well. And that's it. That's all we got. She's nodding her head. I hope all of this makes sense, and I send you great love and blessings in your highest good, and I shall see you soon.